On this episode of The Watch Factor, we fly into New York to attend Red Bar's global meetup, and we kick off the day with JLC and a special time at the local Manhattan boutique. On The Watch Factor, let's get started. You know, I would say there's always something special about when you actually get a chance to go to an actual boutique of one of your favorite brands and just spend time learning about not only the watches that are in the display, but about the history of the brand and where the brand plans to go in the future. And so we get an opportunity to hit Manhattan and go into the JLC boutique, which was a spectacular experience. The layout of the entire boutique was so well defined, so elegant. Everything had a specific purpose and a specific meaning. Looking at the overall layout of the building, you just felt like it was going to be a magical time while we're here. Now, this was pretty cool. This was actually the wall of calibers. It was something that they intentionally wanted to design to kind of show the history and a little bit of the provenance around JLC. So each of these movements had the actual year and the actual caliber reference associated to it. Here you see one of the calibers from 1907. As we continue to go down, we get to see some of the other calibers that have been produced. Everything from circular to rectangular calibers, some made for women's watches as well as men's, and the list just kind of goes on and on. From there, we got a chance to kind of learn a little bit about the Atmos clock. And for those of you that don't know, so the Atmos clock actually doesn't run on batteries, but it's actually, its winding mechanism is powered by the contraction and expansion of a mixture of gases. It's something that's a truly an impressive and a revolutionary design that came out of the house of JLC. Really impressive piece in gold. And I just wanted to show you some of the inner workings of this this clock. I mean, just something that's a masterpiece. Always been a fan of the Atmos clock. Haven't yet had a chance to actually bring one home. This is actually one of their latest releases, the actual moon phase, which is kind of a new release to the collection. And then we go to the Trasparente, which is one of the other latest releases within the Atmos clock lineup. So visually just giving you a different look and a different style design, but still true to the DNA of the Atmos and its history. Beautiful, beautiful layout. 7,200 hours of power reserve. Just an amazing marvel of craftsmanship. And so behind the glass, we couldn't get a chance to actually take everything out, but you did get to see a wide variety of displays. Here you have the Master Control in brown leather. Beautiful piece, very clean. And then as we head a little bit further, you get to see the latest release of the Polaris. Now, later on in the video, we actually got a chance to take out the olive green, kind of boutique edition, if you will. And then this puppy. I mean, what a masterpiece. This is the Master Ultra Thin Tourbillon Moon Face with an impressive retail, only about $100,000, and you can have your hands on this. And if you just look at that 6 o'clock area of that dial and that tourbillon cage, I mean, you're just talking about something really magnificent. As they always say, JLC is the watchmaker's watchmaker. And there it is. And I don't know about you guys, but in just looking at this watch, I mean, I was head over heels. The color wave associated to this this olive green, a combination of sunray, lacquer, just a beautiful execution of the Polaris. Definitely something that is on my wish list from JLC, which actually is kind of a surprise because I thought that my acquisition of the Reverso Duo Face was going to be the end of my journey with JLC, and not a bad one at that. But putting this on the wrist, even with that rubber strap, just an amazing piece. And then a little bit of the back end exhibition case back that comes on the Polaris, and you can just see one note to kind of make is that at the bottom, and unfortunately the video doesn't show it as much, it lists 1,000 hours of control. So before it actually leaves the manufacturer, there it is. Before it leaves the manufacturer, just every aspect of ensuring that this is a well-made watch. The movement is just set to all specs, is in place. So just a beautiful, beautiful piece. And then we jump to my favorite piece within all of the JLC lineups, the Reverso. And here's an example of the Reverso Tribute Duo Face. What I love is just kind of pushing the envelope and evolving the history and lineup and heritage of the Reverso. Love the moon face. I actually have a friend of mine that has one of the earlier versions of the moon face and the date window. And so just to kind of see them continue to kind of pull from their heritage, just a beautiful execution. And then here's an example of the back of the watch that also houses a night and day indicator, and also, I guess you could say, a second time zone. No shortage of execution and elegance as it relates to the straps, and I think JLC and some of the partners that work with JLC make some of the most impressive leather straps on the market, hands down, to date. So just spent a little time kind of learning about this, and was fairly surprised at the price point. A watch that falls less than maybe $20,000. Just a great piece overall. Just a great piece. And so from there, we transition to some of the other kind of recent additions. Beautiful monoseconds tribute, and the video just doesn't do this watch in that color justice. I've heard some people say ox blood or wine, whatever your choice. Immaculate, just immaculate. I mean, under the lights, from the different angles, just a showstopper piece. Definitely, if money was no object, it would be in the collection. Now, this was obviously a single face, not a duo face, so you have the opportunity to do engravings. And I hope I don't sound like I'm trying to sell the watch, but to put it on the wrist, to hold it, to look at it, to look at the indices and the markers, just something spectacular. While I was sitting back actually taking a look at that piece, one of the representatives at JLC decided to bring out some of the precious metal examples that they had from the back, and here's one in yellow gold. Definitely can feel the weight of this watch. Traditional, very classic. You can see some of the guilloche in the center of the dial. You've got that sub-seconds hand down at 6 o'clock. Just overall clean and very true to the original. And I just wanted to get a close-up so you can kind of see some of the beaded edging that goes on the inner side of the dial. Just an amazing piece. And then from there, we actually got an opportunity to look at another yellow gold, I believe, example. And this one was something I didn't anticipate. So I was very thankful that the representatives there was definitely pulling out. So here's the tribute in yellow gold, duo faced, and this one actually has this sort of smoke gray dial with these gold accents, not just in the hour markers, but also as a part of the moon face window. And I tell you, when it comes to elegance, when it comes to refinement, when it comes to simplicity, but something that just kind of states that you know. If you know, you know, and that's kind of what I saw here. So got a chance to actually slide it on the wrist, and again, just overall, I just wanted you to see kind of that grain that exists in the actual strap, and it just looked phenomenal, just phenomenal. And then to have on the main dial a lighter kind of silver gray And the legibility, I mean, was just spot on. As I get a little bit older, the eyes tend to need a little bit more focusing, and so just little subtleties like the red kind of crescent moon, if you will, to indicate the hours, I thought was just a great touch altogether. And we continue on with another example, and I believe this one is. I'm trying to think if this still falls under the tribute. I think this is another monoface, so the back doesn't have an additional dial on it, and it just punches. It just punches. There's nothing even really to say. You can just see it for yourself. It just punches. And so I just spent some time just showing from all different angles how the light hits it. I love the clasp that they add to the watch with the JLC insignia on it. Just a very, very well-made piece. All right, well, this kind of wraps up today's video. Just wanted you guys to kind of get a chance to experience and kind of go along the journey with me as I got a chance to kind of enjoy just experiencing some beautiful watches at the boutique in Manhattan. If you haven't already, I always tell you, please make sure you subscribe. We're constantly thinking of new content, trying to get more interviews, more watch reviews, and we want to continue to build this watch community here with the Watch Factor. So until then, take care.